So obviously we're running a little overtime, but I'm going to stick to my word here. A new slot in the program is what I call the Principal's Hot Seat. So in the hot seat today is our very gracious host, Principal of Oudtshoorn High School Center of Excellence, Tony Marshall. And I've asked him just to, in a very pragmatic way, share a little bit about his own leadership experience and specifically bullying. And we had a little banter about, he was clarifying if it was meant to be speaking about kids or adults. And I think we do sometimes perpetuate the behavior that we are surrounded by each day. And so here's Principal Tony Marshall to give us a very unique perspective of his own experience in leadership and bullying.
I have probably very little to say that you don't already know. I'm not an academic. What I do though is I read a hang of a lot. And I'm going to try to convey a couple of ideas. First of all, I'm a principal, so I'm by definition a bully. Stop bullying me, ma'am. And when I say that I'm a bully, then I want us to define what a bully is. A bully sometimes expects more from you than you actually think you have. Okay, so that takes me off the hook. Ladies and gentlemen, the first and most important thing is I was going to start by saying namaste. I don't know if you know what that means. And then I thought, gee whiz, somebody might think you must stay. It's not that. It's namaste. It is a Hindu greeting which means the divinity in me recognizes the divinity in you. And as long as we have that, then we have a great deal. The point I want to make is very simple. You can do nothing about anybody's trauma until you are capable yourself of dealing with your own trauma. Now, what that trauma is, heaven alone knows. But, you know, there's this wonderful, wonderful statement that you don't know what someone else is dealing with. And their response may not be to a trauma outside, but to your trauma. Because that's how you're behaving. Now, I don't want us to become, I dare not say anything, because if I say something, then I'm the bully and I'm going to make things worse for this poor child and it's going to fall apart. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, we are South Africans, we are resilient. You don't have to agree, but I'm going to bully you until you do. There is nothing that I can teach my kids without coming from a very colonized mind. So what am I assuming at Oudtshoorn about my kids from Athlone and Strandfontein and Khayelitsha? My colonized mind is in the way. But more importantly, their colonized mind is in the way. So, okay, now who has a vacuum in their head? Who has a mind that is absolutely clear? And so I'm very, very grateful to the ladies who spoke today, because that tells us what some of the content is. But let's also be clear, we must support our youngsters to be resilient. Not say, oh, well, get over it, Get over it. That would be both incredibly disrespectful and absolutely a joke if you've just said namaste. The divinity in me recognizes the divinity in you. And boy, oh boy, I've had experiences when I've thought, really? Divinity in you? Why are you bullying me this way? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you please to tell me honestly now, how many of you know what Jintu is? A Jintu. Put up your hand. Put up your hand if you know what a Jintu is.
Is it a Pokemon?
Okay, ma'am, you spoke earlier, so you didn't have another opportunity, but I'm going to bully you now, so you have another opportunity. What's a Jintu? What?
He's supposed to be a bad woman, but
A bad woman? Ha ha!
when a ship was stranded off the Cape,
Okay.
and the men and the women of the Cape used to go and visit and frequent the ships to keep the men happy. And then the name of the ship was Gentuch. That's it.
Okay, in a nutshell, WH0RE. I have dyslexia. WH0RE, yes? Now, how many of you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a dyslexia. I think I have ADHD, maybe, but maybe I'm just traumatized. Ladies and gentlemen, answer me this, please. Answer me this. How many of you are teaching your youngsters the resilience to deal with, did I say it? Social media! It's okay, it's okay. Don't bully me, it's okay. That's an alarm, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to finish, aren't we? Thank you, ma'am. I get the message. I'm hastening to a close. We have to teach our kids that nobody's entirely, universally popular. That's where the prefrontal lobe comes in, and you start thinking, okay, because everybody wants to be popular. I'd like you to like me. I'd like you all to jump up and give me a rousing round of applause, and as you leave, write out checks and hand them to me. The older people, and the younger people, you can just, tell me what's your banking details, old fellow. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to look after yourselves. I don't know whether you, like me, sometimes experience massive trauma from parents who are already traumatized. Okay? I've been taken to court for various spurious things, unsubstantiated stuff. So I'm about to say to you, expect it. Expect it, because we're South Africans, and as South Africans we don't really know how to engage with each other in conversation. There's a wonderful book by a guy called Marshall, has to be Marshall, who talks about non-violent communication. Google it.
There's actually in Cape Town a movement at the moment. There's a movement in Cape Town on non-violent communication at the moment.
Run by the Quakers, and I happen to be a Quaker. Thank you for that. There's also the Quaker Peace Center that teaches non-violent communication. It really is something worthwhile learning and applying. Ladies and gentlemen, the Charter for Compassion. Do you know that? The Charter for Compassion, once again, Google it and see whether you can in some way simplify it, because it's a marvelous document. You can simplify it for your schools, for your staff, and look at that in no uncertain terms. Let me hasten to complete two things. I sometimes feel utterly bullied by officials. They tell me that I haven't sent them something, and I have a paper trail to prove that I have, but they want it now. Or they hear something from a parent and they say, Mr. Marshall, so-and-so, or not even, that and this and the other teacher has done that. And I'm inclined to freak, because then freak in a nice way, please. Say, does the teacher have an opportunity to respond? Because let's put it this way. The officials too are under huge pressure. And so we've got to accept that the default mode in South Africa is what the Minister of Sport said to the rugby team. And by the way, I'm an All Black supporter. He said to them, Murele. Murele. You may have heard that. In His infinite mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's also be very, very clear about decolonizing the mind. Let's be very clear about decolonizing the mind. The vast majority of you are female. I'm trying to get in touch with my feminine side. My wife says I'm not very successful. But Ladies, when are you going to say culturally, tribally, religiously, and all of that? You're second-class citizens. And me, I'm part of a paternalistic organization, this thing called South Africa, that benefits immensely from your being quiet about it. And our girls have exactly the same experience. So when I talk about, not I talk about, please heaven, Jintu, and about social media, we have to teach our children that namaste really matters. Not first class, second class, third class, I live in such and such a place and I have that address, I go to this school or that school or anything else. But you matter. You matter because of who you are. Okay. So, feel sorry for me? How dare you? I don't feel sorry for a moment because I think I'm in the best business in the world. Nobody agrees. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for spending this last bit. And please, look after yourself. Way back when I was your age, there was a TV program about police people. And the last statement always was, be careful out there. And I mean that. Be careful out there. Be dignified, be kind, be respectful, be loving. But start with yourself. Best wishes, ladies and gentlemen.
Minutes away from scooting out of here, all of us, I have a little surprise for you. So this is also something new to the forum. And I sincerely hope that you were all listening. Salvan, I'm going to ask for your eyes here because the first hand raise will get a little spot prize. And the purpose of this is to say thank you. Thank you for taking this afternoon when you could have been doing 1,000 other things to actually come through and, I think, feed, learn, absorb. Because, it is a very packed day for most of us. So I'm going to ask a little question, and the first hand raise will get the spot prize. No family and staff. What is the name of the pledge that the children are being asked to take? Okay, hands. We're going to follow the rules here. The lady at the back, what is the answer?
Be Kind pledge.
The Be Kind pledge. Is that correct, Natasha? Yes. So you can come up and get your prize. You can come along and get your prize. And so I just want to say to you, this doesn't have to be boring and serious. I was upstairs before the session started and everybody was very serious as they were nibbling on their food. I encourage you to network and socialize with each other. What is your name?
Rebecca.
And which school are you from?
From Ottery Road Methodist Primary.
Okay, well there you go. Congratulations and thank you for coming through.
Thank you
come
very
again.
much.
Pleasure. And thank you to our speakers. Claudia, you're such a survivor. You made it through the technical mishap.
I'll go to Mr. Marshall for tea after my trauma.
Thank you. And Natasha. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so our next session is on the language of learning and teaching, 20th of October at UWC this time. So we'll be bringing some more phenomenal speakers through. This is free knowledge. Use it, don't use it, but your absolute advantage to use it. So hope to see you next time. Thank you.